Hey guys, V from Shark Fin Shears here. Thank you for tuning in to today's class where we're going to be doing a live haircut, bringing you tricks and tips that you can take this week and use behind the chair. I suggest taking one or two of these tricks, trying them out on a client this week, see how they work out for you. Have fun with it. We're going to have fun in today's class. And be sure to tune in every Monday or check out the YouTube channel so you can see the recordings as well. If you're in today's class, please stay tuned to the end. I want to give you a promo code that you can use on the website to shop around that'll help you out when purchasing a pair of shears. Shark Fin is dedicated to bringing education on the tools that you're going to be using behind the chair. I'll talk specifically about the shear that I use and why I like it. And I just want to let you know, again, before we get started, that Shark Fin has a shear for everybody, whether you're looking for a swivel or a non-swivel, a 5.5-inch shear up to a 7, and the different type of blending shears that we offer as well. There's something out there for everybody, and I want to make sure that you have the tool that you're comfortable with in your hand when you're working behind the chair all day. So again, stay tuned until the end. Thank you for tuning in today. And if there's anything in the future that you would like to see, hit us up on Instagram at Shark Fin Shears and let us know what you want to learn about. Let's get started. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another Shark Fin Barber series. Thank you for joining us. If you haven't been with us before, typically we have live models on here and we talk everything hair, and we also go into some personal stuff typically as well. Hopefully things that can help you and achieve your goals behind the chair or out in life. I got a quick tip for you guys. It's February. It's cold where I am. And one thing I typically suggest to my clients, usually around maybe like end of October into November, is starting to change their hairstyle for a winter look. So if you have a hard time suggesting a haircut change for a client, one of the easiest ways to do that is a winter look or a summer look. And it's a variation of the same haircut. So around the mid-fall, late fall time, I'll start to talk about a winter look where I take the hairstyle and we just make it a little longer. If your client's getting fades and everything like that, maybe I move the fade down a little bit to increase the length on the sides, increase the length on the top, and it makes a change. It changes it for them, keeping them warm, honestly, and then it also changes the look just enough where it's fresh. And then sometime around April, we'll start to, maybe like mid-March into April, we'll start to come out of that winter look, start to go shorter, higher, tighter, things like that, and get them ready for that nice summer look. So again, just a suggestion behind the chair, keep things fresh. Recommend something basic to your clients. It goes a long way for them in multiple ways. So think about that coming up for this spring. All right. Let's jump into it for today's class. We'll bring out our guest. What's up, brother?
How you doing?
Good, man. Thanks so much for being here again. Appreciate it. All right, this is Kevin. Kevin, say hi.
How you doing?
Kevin is a student at the school that I teach at, and he is going to share a little bit about his experience just in general, being in school or transitioning out of school into the shop and kind of what he's going through. So I'm excited to have him on today because there's a lot of students out there watching, and he's going to share his experience. I'll give you guys a quick look at what we're working with. Today's haircut, we're going to dive into maintenance cuts. So a maintenance cut is someone who comes to see you frequently, every week, every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, can kind of be in that maintenance cut, pushing forward. Typically, after that, we're kind of getting out of that area for these shorter haircuts and the maintenance look. So Kevin's hair is obviously really short right now on the sides and the top. He's going to explain what he's looking for, and then we're going to dive into the techniques and tools that we're going to use to achieve this haircut today.
So, Kev, we didn't get to talk too much beforehand, but you did agree to be here. So again, thank you. Let's talk to the people. What are you looking to achieve with the haircut today?
So for a while, I've been going with like a mid skin fade on the side and like a metal 3 on top. So I'm kind of growing it out longer because it's been. I'm probably rocking that for like 6 months, like most of school probably, so probably longer. So just trying to grow it out and kind of see where it goes. My hair gets like curlier once it gets longer. So kind of would like to get some of that curl back eventually. And
Can I just clarify one thing?
Sure.
We're not growing the whole thing out because I'm cutting your.
Yeah, this side. Okay. Yeah, so like keep
so we're growing the top out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Growing the top out. Yeah, so but keeping it longer on the sides, definitely probably somewhere around a 2 or like 1.5, like not all the way down to like stubble where I was going for a while. So
okay. Do you want to see skin at all?
Like I'm okay to see like I can see like skin through it or whatever, but
okay.
Not anything.
So
super
something
crazy.
around a 0 or higher we can go to today.
Yep.
Okay, just not super down to stubble.
Yeah,
no foil shaver, anything like that today.
Yep.
Okay. So it's getting a little too long on the sides for you. You're used to getting a haircut how often?
Especially because of being at the school like almost every week.
Okay. And then how long has it been since the last haircut?
I'd say probably at least 3.
Okay.
3 weeks probably.
All right, cool. So we're high focus on the sides, and you don't want anything off of the top if we don't need to. Right? We're growing that out as much as possible. And you don't know what the end result is that you're looking to achieve ultimately? You're not too
Not
sure?
yet, not really, no.
Okay. That's fine. But it's just not at a point where you want it to be.
Yeah, no.
Okay, great. All right. So, again, this haircut's mainly going to be focused on the maintenance area. So we're going to talk about how to take what Kevin currently has, blend it into the top. It's going to change the way the top looks, so we need to pay attention to that. And he typically gets a skin fade. You said low to mid or mid to high?
Mid to high.
Mid to high. And we don't want to go down to like the trimmer or foil shaver, but I'm thinking maybe a 0, and we'll blend it up from there. Cool. And I cut your hair once before, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then once like way long ago.
Cool.
Where I was at
All right. Well, then I'm going to start out. We'll talk about what I'm going to start out with and go from there. So to keep the hair, when I'm growing hair in, there's 2 things I'm going to be concerned about with this haircut. Where I leave off with the clipper and how I'm going to blend into the top, and then and how that's going to affect the top. And then he wants to continuously grow it in. He wants the hair to get longer on top. So how that's going to set us up for the next haircut and set him up to grow it out. The transition area, your parietals and your crowns, the length of the hair in those areas directly affects the length on top. So what I teach is the shorter you go in those areas, the shorter it has to be on top. The longer you're in those areas, the longer the hair can be on top. And it's the balance, or it's the connection point between how tight you're going on the sides and back and how long it is on top. So we're going to focus on that today. You can see Kev's head shape in here. This is important. This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this on almost every client, but specifically this haircut. So this gap here, you can see the hair at the top and the hair in the parietal area aren't even reaching out to the comb. So we're actually going to be able to go up, in, and we're able to go off the head at about this angle with the clipper. Okay? It's important to note. The back of the head, with the hair growing in, I think this shape is okay for Kevin's current haircut and everything, but if he wants to grow this in, we can go, if you see this gap here, we can go up and we can go in and off into the crown a little bit. all right, about low to mid area of the crown. And I want to keep this shape in here, this nice rounded shape. And I want to drop that down into the crown where the flat spot is. I want him to start getting some shape in there with the hair so that it doesn't look like a flat spot. That's specifically what I'm looking for now. And then if he were to continue to come back to me as we continue to grow this in. I have clients who have been with me and switch up a haircut like this, and they come and see me every 3 or 4 weeks. They still come and see me every 3 or 4 weeks, and we're just maintaining the sides. And then again, this is going to affect the way the top looks. It will make the top look slightly longer or puffier. So we may have to just do a little like thinning, keeping while preserving the length. But I'm sure Kevin wants to continuously, look good while he's growing the top out. So a client like this, I'm definitely still recommending that they come in on their routine haircuts every 3 or 4 weeks. Would you agree with that, Kev?
Yep, for sure.
Cool. So pay attention right now. Remember the comb was here. We're going up, in and off the head a little bit. So here's the up, and here's the flat spot of Kevin's head that the clipper, if you release pressure, it would just go up and off. I want to go in a little bit and change my angle slightly so that I can blend into the top and this hair can grow out well together. The head changes shape slightly 3 times on the side and then 3 times in the back. So this part kind of goes off a little bit. And then it's going to go straight up and down. And then in this area here, it's going to slightly turn in. You got to pay attention to that with clients, especially if you want control of tool manipulation. I see a lot of people, they don't follow the head shape. The clipper starts to leave the head here, and they're leaving length and weight where they don't desire it. So pay attention to that. All right. So that was a 3.5. That's going to keep this dark. I'm going to clear again with a 2. And then we'll do the 0 into the 2. We'll show you how to do that. But I'm going to go around the head with a 2. So in the meantime, let's talk to Kevin.
What's up?
When are you done school, man? How much longer you got?
3 weeks.
Wow. And then how long was the program?
10.5 months.
And you touched clippers before coming to school or no?
No prior experience at all cutting hair.
How was your overall experience for yourself?
It was awesome. I enjoyed it. I was like most nervous about it being too simple almost. I enjoy that there's like a lot more to do or get into and understand. But yeah, even just school experience is great.
So real quick, you thought cutting hair would be too simple, like
Yeah.
coming into it?
Yeah, so
And then what did you find as you started to dive into like learning about it in school and everything?
definitely more about like some of the topics you were just talking about more of the building shapes on shapes and just the different ideas that you can go into a haircut. It's not simply just putting a guard on a head or just picking up hair and cutting it with scissors.
That's my favorite when clients say that. We'll be teaching in front of somebody and they're like, I just thought you just picked up hair and just cut it.
Yeah.
You can.
Yeah, you can.
If you want something that looks good, though, we need to know a little bit more.
Yeah.
Nice. Have you had what's been your favorite aspect about learning how to cut hair?
I guess it's still cutting hair. I enjoy the razor work a lot. That's been really cool. I enjoy the.
Well, what other so skills? So you can talk about the technical skill in barbering, and then maybe some aspects of barbering, like what parts go into our job that you appreciate, that because it's not just cutting hair and stuff. So
Right. So I had no prior experience like cutting hair, but I was like working at a shop as a receptionist while I was in college, and that's kind of what really got me started to want to cut hair. Is I really enjoyed being at the shop. Mm-hmm. Truly, the hardest part for me was waking up that early because I'm more of a night owl person. But the rest of the job felt effortless to me. It felt like a real easy environment to be in, and I found myself really enjoying it. So I figured, why not learn how to cut hair and just be in that environment all the time.
Oh, that's cool, man.
So definitely that like feeling of a shop and stuff like that is definitely the biggest thing I would say outside of the actual cutting the hair that I enjoy.
So you're saying like literally like the shop atmosphere, like
the atmosphere, and just again, I enjoy the fact that it's. I know there are like new people and stuff like that, but seeing people over and over again every so often and being able to catch up with people and some of the social aspects about that,
that's really
I found enjoyable.
Have you already had people like sitting in your chair again, that people you've been cutting with the time that you've been behind the chair a little bit, or
yeah,
are you already seeing like repeat customers and stuff?
For sure, and it's really been humbling and gratifying to see that. It's been cool to see even the clients that I don't cut, that the other barbers were cutting at the shop, seeing me behind the chair and being like happy for me to see me there. Has been really awesome as well.
So the whole shop's been kind of part of your experience,
for sure,
or have like supported you in what you're doing and stuff.
Definitely,
that's awesome. Chin up for me real quick. All right, just gonna check in. This is something a tip I'll give you guys. So I have an open no guard. We're kind of in the low area. If you saw earlier, I kind of did a finger, 2 fingers. That's a low and like kind of a mid point for me. I'm checking in on Kevin's head specifically. So this is a really easy way, quick way to kind of gauge where you want to be with your fade line, your starting line. It's about at his eyebrow. I had him look up, so I'm going to go over here. Eyebrows are symmetrical. All right. So if I'm drawing a line across from his the bottom corner of his eyebrow, I'm going to put a quick line in. I'll check it. Chin up for me. Cool. We're looking good there. That's a way to keep things even from side to side with your fade lines. I already have my line back here. So I have an A. I call this like an A, a B, or an A, your B, and then you connect it, your C line. The one thing I want to bring up about Kevin's hair, I don't know if you guys have noticed or can hear it. His hair is probably one of the thicker heads of hair that I cut. Now that's texture. When you're talking about thickness, we're talking about texture, and then the density is high. So Kevin's got high density and the texture is thick. Why do I need to consider that? Again, one of the things I see a lot with beginning barbers, clipper control. So I got this angled at a way that's aggressively cutting with the teeth. You got 3 parts to your clipper head. You got the teeth, the body, and the heel. When you're trying to blend, you use all 3. So you go teeth, body, heel. That helps you blend into the next area and not create a line. What I see people do is they'll keep the teeth on, and then when they get to another part of the head, they'll go to the body and they'll start running that up. and then you're not actually cutting the hair to the length you desire. Kevin has a prominent bone structure here, which would cause me to push my clipper to the body. So that's why I'm saying I'm keeping this a little bit more aggressive. I'm making sure that the teeth are constantly picking up the hair and cutting it at that angle to get this zero. And then I'm taking my time a little bit more, making sure I'm getting all this hair because there's so much of it. All right, we'll talk quickly about adding a little bit of just adding a little bit from here down in the taper areas. I don't like that this whole area is going to look like one length. So I'm going to close the clipper low in the nape about here. I'm going to use this section to play around with it like half open, and then we'll go 3/4 and open. Just doing that will enhance the way the haircut looks at the end. Leaving it like this and then blending up, it looks like you just cut the guy's head in half in the back of his head. And then in the taper area up here, we're going to taper this out down to a closed no guard at a minimum. You cool with that?
Yeah, taper it all out. Yeah,
All right, yeah. So again, Kevin doesn't want this down to like stubble or foil shaved in the sides and the back necessarily, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to leave it like that, because that the haircut won't. We're going to add some dimension to it and kind of take it to the next level. Okay, so this is the open no guard. I said we're going to be about closed here. We're going to be about half open here. So we'll just adjust your clipper to half open. Again, we're just adding a little dimension here. So what have you learned the most from transitioning from school to the shop? I have tended to talk to students that there's only so much we can teach at the school. The school is a specific place, and it's a bit of a bubble, and you just need to start getting that real life experience to kind of take you to that next level. So how's transitioning from school to the shop been for you?
Definitely challenging at times. I say the biggest concept learning about right now is definitely just consistency as a whole.
In what?
Just in my cuts in general. Okay. That really helps with, one of the biggest differences from the shop to the school is I get to cut the same person's head again.
Yeah, nice.
So seeing that regrowth in places and like having more time to truly understand someone's head shape and stuff and tailor a haircut more to them instead of just working through a system for a type of haircut.
Nice.
Has definitely been a big part of the shop.
Sweet. So school, you work through a system, kind of in and out. You never know who you're going to get. We operate off of like walk-ins, and we have a student rotation kind of thing. So in the shop, you get to see the same person. Do you feel like you follow the procedure on the first time, and then the second and third time, you really get to kind of start fine-tuning stuff?
Yeah, to a certain extent. Or like, the opposite, kind of try stuff out, especially, I think is a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because again, like you were talking about the difference in hair textures. So trying different stuff, just try to tailor it to the different hair textures, I think it's helped. Even if I might try something and to say it doesn't work, like they have a bad haircut isn't right. But like something, I might have made the haircut more difficult to finish because I tried a little bit different. But then it's like I would learn something. I could take that concept and apply it to somebody else with a different hair texture.
Oh, heck
So,
yeah. Cool.
It's been fun that way.
Sweet. Now, what's the time frame that you're doing these haircuts in at the shop?
So all my appointments are booked for an hour. Unless it's like a super crazy haircut or it's like super overgrown, I'm somewhere to 30 to 40 minutes. Actually cutting probably 30 minutes. But then like the extra polish work, because I have the extra time to like, again, take more of that mental inventory about what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's why they're usually in the chair closer to an hour than usual.
Cool. So you're working on other aspects of the career than just like the cut, you know.
Right, and like some of it is the like what you were just talking about with tapering out the sideburns and back of the neck, like learning stuff like that to kind of take the haircuts to the next level.
Nice. All right, little technique back here. I'll cue you in on what I'm doing. I'm going, because I had my open no guard line where I wanted it, and I can clearly see how dense Kevin's hair is and everything. I am right here. I'm using more of the body. So his head shape, the teeth would be here. If you see the clipper, the angle would be here. And then to get a little bit more of a blend, I'm going up and off and just softening that area so I can go in and blend this easier with the clipper guards. All right. Any advice you would share in general for new barbers or transitioning, or some people are watching this video and they're just learning something new for the first time? Any advice?
Say patience is definitely the hardest thing. I'm someone that just in anything I do, I'll usually do things halfway. So it was hard for me in the beginning to just realize that for whatever reason, sometimes things just take time. And then one day you'll do a skin fade for the 15th time and it just looks better and you're like, I don't even really know what I did different, but it looks better. And for whatever reason in haircutting, some of the stuff just works like that. And Vinny definitely knows this, like I struggle when I don't know why stuff happens. Like I like to know the reason behind stuff. So I guess patience in general, that like a lot of aspects of the hair cutting is just gotta cut a lot of hair and just be around it, and that just boils down to just time.
Cool. So you think some things just take a little bit longer to digest than you would have originally thought?
Right, because it's not even the concept of digesting, it's just
performing it?
It's just performing it, or I don't know, sometimes, I don't know. Some of it is the aspect of like you just have to stare at a bunch of haircuts a bunch of times. Whether it's watching other people cut or even on like Instagram or even movies, like again, you get that bug of like when I'm out now walking around, I'm staring at people's heads.
You can't unsee it now, right? You can't unsee it.
Even that is learning to kind of seeing that like end of a haircut is very important as well. And that's the part that just takes time.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So like, I guess if I was a barber, I was going to go get a barber. The same thing as like being a photographer, it's like, okay, well you're essentially only on business. So what if clients wanted a new guy with like sleeves and creating a book and all that stuff? Like what is that like for you? And have you started this process while you're in school, or do you start that process after
All right, so you're talking about book building.
school? Yeah.
All right, so you're fresh out of school. You're new in the shop. People are gonna, come in, sit with you. How are you keeping them, or how are you getting new clientele? Is that fair to say, Des? Okay.
Well, groundwork is just talking to people. Ultimately, it's some of that building that relationship. I definitely benefited from that, like I talked about earlier. Like, because I was already at the shop, a bunch of the people already knew who I was. I'm not a brand new face to start, so that definitely helps. But it's that work that I did as a receptionist, not knowing that was going to help later down the road. That's just kind of how I am. But it just comes down to kind of talking to people and trying to connect with them at least, even if it's just saying hi and being polite. That's kind of what happens. And then obviously in the chair, they can't go anywhere, so you can ask them questions and talk to them. So
You're mine for a half hour
Right.
to an hour.
So yeah, that's like it kind of comes down to just talking to people and figuring stuff out.
Well, I gotta note, like the big word here is you got to be intentional with your time, right? Like behind the chair. Like once someone sits in your chair, there's I like to say there's three things we're looking to do: give them a good haircut, give them a good experience, and get them to come back. So we give them a good haircut by talking about the things we're talking about now and understanding them, and it's in our head. We give them a good experience with our customer service, and then we get them to come back from the experience, and then we have to ask in a specific way. If you really want this to be a career and you want to enjoy the job every day and cutting hair and put food on your table, I don't see it going any other way.
Yeah.
And I like what Kevin's saying, but and to add to it, it's you got to be intentional with what you're saying, how you're saying it, and stuff. So
Yeah, because again, like the biggest aspect of why I got into it was the shop experience. And I mean, the way I look at it, as much as it is building my own book, building those connections, it also is not that I want anyone to be turned away by it or anything like that. Like, I don't know, you want to find those like-minded people that enjoy that as well.
we'll say that. Well, can you say that a little bit? I'm not following fully.
So, like, you want the people, like, I enjoy, even some guys sit in my chair, they don't really want to talk to me specifically.
Okay.
I think I enjoy cutting their hair even more because they just sit in the chair and you hear them laughing or enjoying just what people are talking about in the day. Like, that to me is the cool part of the barbershop.
Oh, you're talking about like they're experiencing.
Yeah, like they're
having a good experience in the barbershop in general,
yeah,
but you're cutting
and
their
finding
hair.
those people and making connections with people only helps that happen more.
Finding what people? Those
That like
the barbers
engage that aren't.
okay.
So again, like we talked about before, of like transactional versus relational.
Yep.
And it's from the client's perspective too, because I don't think there's nothing wrong if someone just doesn't. They just want a haircut and they want to leave. They don't want to build that relationship. So talking, and in a way, it is building my book. But to me, it's more important just for that's going to happen anyway, as long as I focus on just trying to keep that barbershop culture good and healthy. Finding those like-minded people that enjoy being there, not just there just to get a haircut.
Nice. All right, guys, we are at the point where we're connecting this haircut totally. Thanks for sharing, Kev. From the open no guard, we went in with a half guard open and down faded. And the connection here for this haircut is with the 1. I'm connecting the, I did a 3.5 rotary and a 2 rotary. We did the open no guard, added a little taper to add some dimension to the haircut. Blended in, then we added the half guard. Cleared some hair out, down faded it, and now we're connecting in with the 1. So we're gonna wrap this up and then move into that top piece and how to, again, maintain or how to connect this in a way where we just let that top grow, take into consideration a few things. And then this, to me, man, I be using language. Like I said, I never cut Kevin's hair. So this is a work in progress. So if I want, again, experience, good haircut, experience, and then come back, come back. I want to be able to do this again. I want to see Kevin again, all that stuff. So would be talking to Kevin like, yeah, man, when you come back, we got it to this point. We'll reassess. We'll see how it grew in. You can let me know if you like it, if there's anything you want to change. And he already told me how often he gets a haircut. So, I'd be like, hey, I'd be talking about how long the bottom's going to last. This is going to last 2 to 3 weeks. If you want to maintain that, you can stretch it to 3 weeks. What does that look like for you? That's what I would be using at the end of the conversation. So if you're not setting yourself up for that, you're leaving it in the client's hands for them to come back and when. And yeah. All right, revisiting with my 2 now. Using a lot of pressure in any dark areas below that 3 I see. I'm happy with how this came out. Do you need your glasses to see the mirror?
Yeah. Depending on how close you hold. Nope.
And you can see in the monitor at all.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool on the sides.
Yep.
And everything.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. All right. So let's just touch. Now you want to see a curl in the top, like your hair gets curly. So you're thinking you kind of want to see that curl again a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. So. All right, we got minimal blending that we're gonna need here. We talked about how thick your hair is. Do you mind, like, if we debulk at all a little bit?
No, that's fine.
Okay, so we can debulk a little bit. Anytime I cut a client and they want something off the sides and little to nothing off of the top, from behind the bang area, so I go, he's got a full hairline, so recession line. The recession line, I don't typically use that language in front of clients. We don't like that term. Anything about thin or thinning or recession, but side note. So where his front hairline is meeting that side hairline, that's the recession point. So from here over to the other point, anything from there forward, that's going to be an easy way to find your client's bang. From there to the crown area is going to be the most dense area on top. I'm usually hitting that with like a 30 tooth blending shear. That's what I'll debulk with, and that'll kind of reduce the heaviness and make the hair look less helmety. That's what I say. So we can do that. And then what's going on with this little tuft of hair here? I see that hasn't like gone down at all.
Yeah, so I get one that grows. I get like
There they
2
can see
horns
it.
basically.
Oh, you got a little
One grows like straight to the left, and I'll get a horn over there, and the other one pops up on the right.
over here. I don't
Over
see it that much over here right now. Where is it typically over here?
It's just right here. So
Right
when my
here.
hair gets long, it'll just
Bellow
curl.
out.
Yeah.
Okay, now again, I haven't cut your hair when it's like this, so I'll talk about what I see, how I would handle that, and then make sure you're cool with it. You've had way more haircuts, so you've seen what people have done before, so I'll talk to you about it before I do anything.
Okay.
Okay. Couple ways I'll approach this. Here's a barrel roll. So I go comb, shear, comb, shear, comb, shear, get the hair where I want it. And then we're just doing a debulk. So almost like I'm moving through the top, like I'm cutting the top. 4 sections or so. Now with Kevin growing his hair out and with how much hair he has, I'm okay with doing this. So again, this is kind of case by case. I'll show you what we'll do in the crown here.
Ooh.
This will preserve.
Move Kevin around a little bit.
Let's get it back in focus.
Come on, so figure it out. Wait a second. Okay. There we go. It could be because he's lower.
Glad I called that guy. Okay.
It's because he's lower.
All right. Sorry, y'all. Hold on one second.
That's good.
We're in frame.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. So again, I have a 30 tooth blending shear, just removing some weight. It's going to reduce the helmet look because the tighter you go on the sides, the longer the hair is going to look on top in general. So if you ever have a client who's thinning on top, that's something to note. The tighter you go on the sides, the longer it looks on top. And when I'm debulking, I look for a change and then I feel for a change. So the first time I'm running the comb through Kevin's hair, when you have somebody who with the hair's thick and dense, the comb is going to drag a little bit. And then as soon as you start to remove some of that bulk, the comb's going to fly through the hair easier. And then again, it's going to look less puffy. Once that starts to happen, I stop. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4 down the center, 1, 2, 3 on the crown, a little bit on the right, and just a touch on the left, and I'm done. So we'll do that. Now for this horn cowlick area. Okay. What I would recommend is, because it sticks out of the shape of your haircut. Now, when your hair gets long enough, will it eventually lay flat? Or will it kind of always stick up and then just kind of get tussled in with like the rest of the curls and everything like that?
It will eventually, but this side usually, my left side does usually lay better eventually once it's long enough.
Okay. So if you're growing this in and this hair sticks up, if it bothers you, what I would do is I would trim it down so that it matches the shape of the haircut. So I would kind of freehand this.
Yep.
And then as the hair continues to grow in, it'll look uniform. I can do that, or you can just completely let it go and...
Yeah, I'm fine with the freehanding it in.
You're fine with freehanding it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Des...
Is there a punch in?
Yeah, I'm going to try to get this at an angle where people can see it. Yeah. All right, cool. Nice. Dude, you're getting better. That's a good job, dude. I'm just playing. Okay, so here and here, this is what I'm looking for. We got a connection point here. We have a connection point here. And then we're just going to freehand that hair there. And that's going to, again, help with the uniformity look. And then also it'll grow in. As it grows in and this hair gets to a point where it kind of covers that shape, at that point I would kind of just let it rock.
Yeah.
I'm not going to continuously shave that down. This here, the reason that I'm comfortable with this happens a lot in the crown area. So this technique I would use typically in the crown area. You can kind of see it a little bit. Kev has a little bit of a tuft in the back here. With how short the hair is and the transition and everything, it's not as big of a deal.
It'll come back in. It just doesn't like the movie thing.
I spoke too soon. Told you were getting better at this.
It's like 1 or 2, bro.
All right. I'm going to pay attention to this, so let me know if it goes out of focus again. So I get level. I'm going to start with the connection point up here. I have a 6 1/4 double shark fin shear right now. I'm cutting this dry to see how the shape forms. Just using the front of the shear, the top for that control. This would be something I would take notice of when Kev first sat down. I gotta first find out, is this bed head? There you go, you can see that. Thanks, Kev. Is this bed head or is it a cowlick or what? And then if I would cut the top fully, I would have cut the top normal, probably kept that area out of my top cutting. I would let the hair dry, and then I would blend it in the way I'm doing it now. My rule of thumb, if all hair looks good to an extent wet, because you're breaking down the physical structure of the hair and you can manipulate it more. Once hair is dry and goes back to its normal, the way that it sits normally, depending on what you did with the hair wet, that's where it's really going to show up. So something like this, I want to do dry, because if it looks good dry, then it'll look good wet. That's my rule of thumb. And as you guys can see, that is now blended in. You can see that shape there. It's not peeking out anymore. Cool. This was a nice little feature for today's class, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Touch of blending that we're going to do on the side over here. A little hard to see. Sorry, Des. I'm going to try to get this.
You're good.
Cool.
Doing my job.
All right. So we got the tighter side of the comb. Using a smaller part of the shear for this blending. And I'm not cutting a ton of hair off. And I shouldn't be, because we're blending right up and into that top, and I want to maintain that top length. So if I don't blend properly here, then you're either going to have a rough transition or you're going to have to cut the top. So right now it's about what we leave on the head. And after that, we're going to outline, and this haircut is done. I would see Kevin in 2 to 3 weeks, or 3 weeks, and then repeat this process. So, all right, you can punch out, Des. Cool. Sweet. So, again, Kevin, thank you for being here. For you guys at home, I hope you took something away from today's class. Maintenance cut, someone who gets something done every 2 to 3 weeks, and growing in the top, what to pay attention to. Remember your connection areas, your parietals and your crown. Whatever you do in that area to protect the length is going to directly affect the top. That's what we paid attention to first. And then cleared out to be able to just worry about the sides, doing a zero fade, removing bulk up at the top so that the haircut fits, or so that the top cut fits the rest of the haircut. But while we're growing the hair out, we're just going to remove some bulk so it doesn't look as puffy. And then we had a nice little horn on this left side that we shaped in that'll grow in with the rest of the haircut. And then at some point in time when Kevin's happy with the length, we'll kind of just let it fly from there. So thank you guys so much again for tuning in. If you are looking to grab a pair of shears on your own and you're on the website shopping around, if you go to checkout and you're buying an individual pair of shears from the Pro Line Plus up, type in VP20 at checkout for 20% off. Thank you guys for tuning in today. If you're at school watching and you don't yet have Shark Fin Shears in your student kits, please reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you about that. And if you haven't already purchased something on your first order, use VP10 to get 10% discount on your purchase order. So, guys, I say it typically in the classes, if you want to see anything more specific, if you're enjoying what we're doing or have any comments, please reach out to us, Shark Fin Shears on Instagram or education@sharkfinshears.com. Send us an email. Love to hear from you. We're signing off for today. We'll see you soon. Say bye, Kev.
Bye.